Stark here, and we are going to be doing something a little bit different for the last 3 weeks of school. That's right, we only have got 3 more weeks left, and we are going to be doing a dream vacation project. I know everyone always asks me, well, how do we use math in real life? Why do we need to learn this? Well, this is going to help you in real life, because guess what? We love vacations. As humans, we need to get away, go on vacation, and kind of relax. So I love traveling. It's one of my favorite activities. I've been around Europe multiple times. I've driven across the United States. And so one of my dream vacations was going to Iceland. What you're going to be doing is we're going to go make a dream vacation project. So at the end of the year, this is what we're going to be doing the last 3 weeks. So what I'm going to do right now is we're going to go over the whole project together. You have 2 options for turning it in. You can either type it up on Google Docs, and I have a Google Doc that I will copy and give to everyone, or you can print this out if you want to hand write everything, and then you can either scan it in and turn it back in, or we can kind of figure this out. So I'm going to go over our dream vacation project, and I want you guys to have a lot of fun with this. I love planning vacations. Here is the dream vacation project. This is the same copy I have in my hand. I just printed it out. It's going to look a little bit different on Google Docs because it didn't translate correctly, but alas, it's the same thing. All right, so this quarantine makes us all want to break. We want to get out. We want to have some fun. But before the real world sets in too much, you want to celebrate. We made it through this thing. So your friends, you and your friends decide to go on vacation, and you want to make sure you use all the money for the rest of the summer, though. So you need to make a budget carefully before you leave. So here are some of the requirements for your trip. So your trip needs to be at least 5 days. So you can leave on a Monday and come back on Friday, leave on a Wednesday, anything like that. Just needs to be 5 days. It's got to be at least 100 miles away. So to give you a quick reference, Lake Tahoe is about 95 miles away. So you need to get a little bit further than Lake Tahoe. San Jose is 110 miles away. So that's kind of gives you a little bit of reference on where you at least need to go 100 miles away. So you can't be going to, Lincoln down the street. You've got to figure out what your transportation is. So are you going on an airplane? Are you flying? Are you taking a car? Are you going on a train, boat? Where are you going? Your accommodations. So these are things like lodging. So hotels, motels, where are you staying? Are you renting an Airbnb? That's a new option that we have. You cannot crash with your friends. You can't be like, hey cousin, what's up? No, you've got to pay for your lodging. For food, you need to prepare for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day. Maybe you should pack a snack bag so you don't get as hungry, things like that. And for activities, you got to plan at least 1 paid activity on your trip. So say you're going down to LA, you could stop at Disneyland, and that would be an activity. All right, at the end of your project, you're going to submit 3 things. You're going to have a budget sheet for each category of your trip. You're going to have a typed itinerary for your trip, including flight times, restaurants, and activities, and a presentation. So it either can be a poster, a PowerPoint, a video, or a song. And if you think of any other idea, let me know, and just email me before you start on it so I can say yay or maybe not. So a PowerPoint is going to be the easiest, but if you have a poster that at home you want to work on, you send me a picture and you're good to go with that. So that is the overall directions of the project. All right, so each thing is broken down into different parts, and you'll be working on parts either a couple days, 1 or 2 days, or you'll be working on parts throughout the week. It's all broken up, Okay, so the first part, you're going to outline and think about expected cost. So what you think it's going to be. We're going to nail down the cost later, but we're doing expectations first. So you're going to choose a destination for your trip. So where are you going? Are you going to Iceland? Are you going to Australia? Those flights are really expensive. Are you going to Canada? Make sure if you're going abroad, you might have to think about passport. So things like that. How long do you plan on being gone? So you have to have a minimum of 5 days, but you can go longer. It just gets more expensive the longer you go. Are you going to drive? Are you going to fly? So what are you how are you planning on getting there? So what kind of accommodations are you expected? Are you going to stay at a 5-star hotel? Are you renting a condo? You're renting an Airbnb? Or are you just going to camp it? Those are different types of accommodations. And what activities are you interested at your destination? So are you going to go to Disneyland? Are you going to go mini golfing? Every family vacation I grew up with, we always went mini golfing. So that is something that you need to think about. And you have a budget. So you've got a budget of only $5,000. So you think, oh man, that's a lot of money. Like, yes, but things start to rack up. If you want to spend a lot of money on a plane ride, that could be a little bit more expense, but it also gives you pretty big flexibility. So then take all those things and don't do specific research. You're going to save that for later, and you're just going to kind of guess. How much do you think your transportation is going to be? How much do you think your accommodations and food and activities and some random other costs, maybe like gas or snacks or things like that? And you're going to make a small total. And then after that, you're going to answer a few questions. So how does your total expected budget compare to the amount you would like to spend? Is your expected amount too low? Is it too high? What area of the estimates above is the most expensive portion? So is your flight, do you think that's going to be the most expensive? Is the activity going to be the most expensive? Which areas? And remember, use complete sentences because you're in 8th grade. In what category of your trip would you most willing to cut costs? What category of your trip is most important to you? Do you like sightseeing? Do you like going that special activity that you've always wanted to do? All right, part 2, your transportation. So what mode of transportation are you going to use? Are you going to fly? Are you going to take a boat? Are you going to take a train? Are you going to drive your car? So if you are taking transportation, such as a plane or a train, then you're going to go to the pay for transportation page. And if you're driving, you're going to go to the driving yourself page. So the first one we're going to go over is paying for transportation. So if you're paying for transportation, you want to look online and kind of figure out what the rates are for that. So you can go to websites, Travelocity, Expedia, Hotwire. If you like using Southwest or things like that, then you can use those engines to find your flight that you want to book. Or they have trains. You got to write about the departure, departs from, where are you going? Are you leaving SAC or are you leaving from San Francisco? You got to do the return date, things like that. And how much is that going to cost? If you have, so the total flight cost for how many travelers, this right here is going to go for how many travelers you have. So say you have 4 travelers, 4 times, say you have $200 is the flight, then you know that's $800 is going to be the cost for just the flight alone. How will you get to the airport or the train station? So if you're going to drive yourself, you're going to go to the airport train station website to find the long-term parking cost. So say I know at Sacramento, it's $9, I think, $9 or $12 a day to park. So for this, total cost $12 times 5 nights, and that's going to give you how much money you're going to spend on long-term parking. And the airport is maybe it's 20 miles away and it's 12 cents per mile, how much are you going to pay for gas on that? Are you going to get real fancy and you're going to find a limousine company to drop you off and pick you up at the airport, which is super cool? Uber as well. Is a friend going to drop you off to the airport? You should really chip in for their gas, right? So give them 20 bucks for dropping you off to the airport, or just calculate how far away the airport is and give them that amount of money. And how you get around your destination. So like when I was talking about Iceland, we rented a car. So we rented a car for 7 days, and it was, I believe, $55 a day. So $55 per day, and there were 7 days, and the travelers that we had was 5 travelers. So when you calculate that all together, that's how much you will need to get around in your destination. You can, if you want to explain that maybe you're just Ubering or getting a taxi all around, then you can do that as well. But that gets a little bit more complicated, and it's hard to budget to see for taxis. So then you're going to write the total transportation cost. So this right here is only for if you are paying for transportation. Now, if you decide to drive, then that's a different, then you go directly to this page and you are driving yourself. So say you want to drive to Canada. How far is it from your destination? You want to look on Google Maps and you type in your destination, and then you say how many miles it is. What type of car are you going to be driving? If you're a big car that has a lot of gas, you're going to have to accommodate for that. And you want to go and see how much gas is. So go to gasbuddy.com. It's an amazing app, and you're going to find gas prices for here and where your destination is. So you're going to put gas prices here and the gas price in wherever your destination is and how much that would be. And we're just going to assume here that you're driving about 15 miles per day at your destination. So from there, we're going to calculate the gas cost. So we're going to travel to a destination, traveling to that. So the gas cost times the miles to the destination divided by the miles per gallon. Okay, and that's going to equal how much it's going to be cost to travel to that destination. Then while you're there at the destination, you're going to take how much the gas is times 15 miles per day, because that's what we're assuming we're driving, times how many days. So how many days you're going? I'm going 5, 7, 10, and then putting that number here. And then you're going to travel back home. So you've got to go back home. And so you're going to take the gas cost in that destination times the miles to get home and the miles per gallon, and that is going to equal your total for that. And when we are doing parking, so you'll have to pay for some parking, especially if you're in a city. If you're staying at a hotel, sometimes you need to park there, and you need to find the parking cost. So the cost of parking, usually parking can range from $10 a day to $40 a day. So you're going to put the cost of parking right here per how many days you're staying, and that's going to be the total. And then you want to add that all up, all these columns right here, and then you're going to put the total transportation cost right here. All right. Part number 3. So we're talking about accommodations, okay? You can go to hotels.com, Travelocity, Hotwire, Expedia. If you want to get creative and come up with Airbnb, I want you to research 3 possible choices for where you could stay. So you're going to put your choice here. You're going to stay at the Marriott. Maybe get some Marriott points. Then how much is it going to cost for it? And you want to say like Marriott San Jose or Marriott downtown Texas or downtown Dallas. I don't know, wherever you want to go. And you're going to put the cost per night. of the cost per night for blank travelers. So it depends. If you're having 4 travelers, you're gonna have to have probably 2 beds, or if you want to do 2 rooms. So it kind of depends on that. And what kind of rating is it? So is it a 4-star rating, a 2-star rating, a 5-star rating? And then you're going to name the pros and the cons. Maybe there's a nice view. Maybe it has a hotel. Maybe it has a hotel pool. That's like a pro. Yeah. And you're going to do another choice. So say you want to stay at the Hilton, or if you want to stay at go camping, what's the cost of that? You only need to rent a site, so it's not as expensive, but they don't have showers there, and it's hard to sleep outside, those kind of things. And then you're going to do another choice. Maybe you found a cool Airbnb, and you kind of go from there. So once you choose your accommodations, you want to explain why you chose it. So I chose to go to the Marriott because 1, I'm getting Marriott points. 2, we had really good reviews on cleanliness of rooms, things like that. And then you want to print out a profile of this accommodation, or if you're doing the Google Docs, you can just of the profile of the accommodation you're using. And then you're going to book your stay. So you don't obviously have to book your stay, but you're going to fill out the information below about the hotel or place you chose. So the name, the arrival date, your checkout date, what type of room, number of the guests that it's going to be staying. So you're going to take the cost per night times the number of nights, and that is your total accommodations cost. All right, now we get into food. So this can always be fluctuating to when you're in the vacation, but it's important to have a outline of what food is on vacations. So you're going to include at least 3 different restaurants that you researched, and you choose based on ratings and menus that you find online. So things you can go to Yelp, use all the time, TripAdvisor, Urban Spoon. These websites you can just go to and kind of check things out in the area that you're staying. So say you're staying in Portland. You're going to go to Portland, Oregon. And you type in, you're staying downtown Portland. So you type in downtown Portland into Yelp, and then you kind of look up from there. So for just kind of in general, for fast food, it's going to be about $4 to $5 per meal per person. If you're getting over the counter like Panera or Noodles and Company, it's going to be $6 to $7 a person. If you're going to sit down someplace casual, Chili's or Applebee's, then it's going to be $9 to $10 a person. And if you're going to a real fancy place, maybe you're going to a downtown, swanky, fancy, I don't know, Ruth Chris, fancy. But you're going to research 3 or more unique restaurants that you'd like to visit on your trip. I really like to visit different restaurants because that kind of gives you a flavor of what what's the name of the restaurant? What type of food is it? Is it Mexican? Is it Italian? Is it Icelandic? What are you going to order there? So you want to look at the menu, see if they have the menu online, and kind of get the person number 1 wants a cheeseburger, the next person wants a fish sandwich. And if you have more people, obviously you add person 3, person 4. And how much is it going to cost? So the hamburger was $12 and the fish was $15. Kind of add up what that is. And then total cost for additional people, you're going to add that together. And so that would be the total bill. So you take the sum of the cost of all the people times 1.5075 for taxes, and then you multiply that again for multiply 1.15 tip. So if you're doing tip, only add the tip if it's necessary. So that's restaurant 1. Restaurant 2, same thing. Restaurant 3, so it needs to be 3 different restaurants. So, and you're going to choose the meal cost from the guide above for the rest of your trip. So make sure you include your 3 restaurant choices somewhere during your schedule. Remember, you're making an itinerary. And sometimes breakfast is included. So make sure if you're booking a hotel, that could be a big pro if breakfast is included. We definitely, when we travel, we definitely look at if breakfast is included in the hotel. So that's a big pro. So then you have your little itinerary for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So breakfast, lunch, dinner, day 5. If you have more days, obviously add day 5, day 6, day 7 is right here. Okay, so if you're doing 10 days, then you add the rest of the 5 days here for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then you add up all your meal cost and put that right here. All right, part number 5. We've got to do activities. This is the last part. Hang with me. So you've got to do something on your trip. You can just go there, stay in the hotel. That's boring. We've got to at least do 3 things that you would like to do on the trip. So your activity or the company, what will you be doing the activity? So mine would be mini golfing. How much does it cost? Times how many travelers there are. That's gonna be a total cost for that trip. Activity number two, maybe you want to go jet skiing. I love going on boats. I love the water. So going jet skiing, you can find a jet skiing company. Activity number 3, same type of thing. Be creative on what you want to do. This is your dream vacation. You might not get to go on it, but that's okay. Dream big. All right. Maybe you can go on this one day. Okay, so final thing, your total budget and your trip itinerary. So your destination, the number of travelers you have, your mode of transportation, departure date, return date, it's all pretty self-explanatory. And these things are at the bottom of all your other sheets. So like down where you found it, right? So you have the total cost of your foods. You're gonna take that big number right here, and then you're going to put it down on your trip itinerary and total budget, right? So taking all the information that you have from all the other sheets and then putting it down here. And sometimes there's some other costs. So you want to get some souvenirs. Say you went to New York City and you went to the Big Apple and you got what I did in New York City is when we went there, I did an 8th grade trip there. No, senior year trip. And I got a mug that said New York, and that was one of my souvenirs. And so maybe you want to buy a souvenir. And maybe you want to buy something for your friend. So those are some other costs that you could have on your trip. And then you're going to put your total vacation cost here. And then you're going to be analyzing after you finish it. Make sure you can only spend $5,000. So if you start to total everything up and you're at like $10,000, you got to cut some stuff. Okay, maybe you can't go to that 5-star hotel. Maybe a limo to the airport might not be feasible, and you've got to figure that out. So you're going to write down some of the things that you've realized as you were making your presentation, okay? Or you're going through all this. So once you are done filling out the dream vacation project, again, this can be on Google Docs or you can print this out and you'd like to write it out, that's fine too. You need to turn in 3 different things. You've got to have the budget, the itinerary, and also the poster or presentation. So take your time on this. I'm going to give out day to day what you should be working on. If you want to knock it all out in a couple of days, go for it, but you've got a lot of stuff to do. I know some of your other classes, and if you need to catch up on any work for my class, then you can do that as well. Again, if you have any questions, send me an email, send me a Google Classroom comment below on the YouTube, and we're still going to do some Zoom calls on Thursdays, and I'll check in with you guys on Friday. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll talk to you guys later. 3 more weeks, guys. You got this. An example of a project that you can do that's a little poster.